Hello, and welcome to the Brutal Iron Gym podcast, where our goal is to cut through the BS and deliver the brutal truth about topics related to health and happiness. Today's podcast number 1848. The topic is Q&A, and the title is 3 Quick Tips to Implement Today. I was doing a virtual consultation with a couple. They are in their 20s, and they both do online coaching. They were asking questions about business and kind of self-development. And then we also started talking about their individual fitness goals. The wife, her goal is to stay lean while growing. She wants to grow her glutes, shoulders, and have good back detail. And then the husband wants to stay lean while growing, and he wants a classic physique look like Chris Bumstead, who just won classic physique for the 5th time in a row at this past weekend's Mr. Olympia. So that's their goals. Among everything that we were saying, we got kind of towards the end of the consultation, and the wife asked, if you could give 3 tips that we could start implementing today based on what we've talked about so far, what would they be? And I was like, yes, I love these kind of, these are fun questions. So I want to kind of go through my thought process of the 3 tips I gave them, give you the tips, and then hopefully you can implement whatever you think might be helpful for you. So the first tip had to do with sleep schedule. They both reported that they stay up pretty late doing client programming and kind of organizing or planning out social media content. They are often up until 1 or 2 in the morning, sometimes even later. And then they wake up around 8 or 9 in the morning. They feel sluggish in the morning. They're late getting to the gym. Sometimes they didn't get enough hydration in. They didn't get enough food. And they just feel kind of rushed to finish the gym on time if they got there late. So that way the rest of the day isn't late. And it just kind of trails off and kind of causes a bad day, essentially. They wake up behind and they stay behind the whole day. So the first tip I gave them was grind early. Meaning we want to grind early in the day, not late in the day. So rather than staying up late to grind away at work, get up early to do it. So I told them try to lay in bed, because we talked about their daily schedule and when things were kind of optimal usage, energy, and focus-wise. And it seemed that around 10:30, 11 o'clock, pretty much after 11, it was work. They did work, but it wasn't the most rested work. It wasn't the most focused. It kind of felt like in what they stayed up to do in 2 or 3 hours, if they had better energy, maybe they could do in 1 hour. So we talked about it, that getting in bed between 10:30 and 11 would be great. Even if they can't fall asleep right away, just get into bed between 10:30 and 11. Journal on pen and paper rather than on your phone. Read a book. They both are into self-development, so I said buy a book that you want to read, but get into bed between 10:30 and 11. And if you reduce stimuli, you will start to fall asleep earlier and earlier. Then you can sleep until 6 or 7 in the morning. So 6 a.m. on mornings, you need to kind of squeeze in some extra work. 7 a.m., get that extra hour of sleep on mornings you think you can afford to do so time-wise. But then you're up. You have time to hydrate. You can actually cook your food for the day ahead of going to the gym. And you can actually be ready to go to the gym and be on the gym on time. So you'll have better quality workouts because you're going to be fed better and hydrated better. That means you're going to lead to greater adaptation stimulus from the workouts. So the workouts are going to be a better quality, which then puts the body in a position to make better adaptations, assuming you eat and sleep. That'll save more time for later in the day by having their food already prepared, and it improves the quality of their progress by eating better, by already having better foods prepared for the day. So instead of waking up late and feeling behind all day, they're going to get up early and feel ahead of the day. That'll be a huge change for them. Absolutely enormous in regards to productivity, but also emotional and mental health and anxiety. A lot of people have anxiety from feeling behind all day, whereas if they could get to bed a little earlier, wake up a little earlier, they then feel ahead of the day, and it really reduces anxiety. So that was the first tip, grind early, not late. The second thing we talked about was nutrition. They are both struggling to stay lean while trying to grow. So they want to eat in a surplus, but they want to stay lean while doing so. So they eat healthy, they eat very healthy foods, but they're often behind in their macros by the end of the day. And they struggle trying to catch up, eating enough food to grow, but not having so much at the end of the day that it accrues extra body fat. So my tip for the second tip was to aim small, miss small. So track their macros in smaller increments. Along with getting up earlier, they can track their day in smaller time chunks. We call them time blocks, if you've heard me talk about that in the past podcasts. You want to track your day not per 24 hours. So don't track your calories and protein per 24 hours. Track them per 4 to 6 hours. So you want to do a third of the day. I'm going to track what I'm doing the first third of the day. If I'm on track, excellent. Then I want to track the next 1/3 of the day, and then the final 1/3 of the day. You just want to break your day down into 3 sections. You'll find that this helps you eat more earlier in the day and during the day, and then therefore you can eat less at night. If your intake better matches your activity, timing-wise, you eat more when you move more, you eat less when you move less, you'll have less water retention, you'll have better glycogen balance in your muscles, like stored carbohydrates, stored sodium, stored water, allowing them to look leaner actually in their videos. So when they film their social media content, they're going to have less water retention, greater glycogen levels. They're just going to look leaner. Kind of how we all like that look we have like post-workout pump. They're going to have a better look when they're doing their filming content if they're eating better, timing-wise. They're also going to graze less during the day, which the wife said that she struggles with a little bit because she feels low energy during the day. And that's because they had crappy sleep quality and they're behind in their food, so she grazes during the day. So if we get better sleep quality, we stay ahead of the food, there's less grazing. And then they'll have less overeating cravings in the evening, to where they hit their macros, but they still feel hungry, they still feel like they want more. If they hit their macros evenly throughout the day, they'll feel satisfied at the end of the day by that same amount of food. Timing, nutrient timing, meal timing doesn't really impact weight change. And that's why diets such as intermittent fasting will work for weight modification. But timing does impact how you feel and how you look. Look and feel better, improve the quality of your life by using smaller time increments. So aim small, miss small. The third tip we went over was for training. They both reported that they struggle to fit everything in within their weekly split, their training schedule. They want all muscles to grow, so they want to train everything at least once a week, but they also have muscles they want to emphasize, so they're trying to train them twice a week. So the wife, she's like, should I train my glutes 2 or even 3 times a week? What about my shoulders? They're a small muscle, therefore they should probably be able to handle greater volume. Maybe I should be training those 3 or 4 times a week. And it's like, oh my God, now I have to train everything 17 times a week. The husband's list, he wants a bigger chest, wider shoulders, bigger upper back. And he does want to train his legs, but he wants to look more full in his t-shirts for videos. So that's chest, shoulders, upper back. But within those lists, they're also trying to implement special tactics, like even more frequency, like the wife thinking maybe she should train her shoulders 4 times a week. They want to do drop sets, rest pauses, a whole bunch of extra things. They're just trying to fit so much in that they feel overwhelmed trying to fit in all of the muscles and all of the strategies into their programming. So the third tip I gave them was to layer your training. They both want aesthetic change more than they care about strength. This is important to know. They want to be strong, they want to get stronger, but strength isn't their ultimate goal. With that in mind, organizing their training in a way that increases muscle damage but decreases necessary volume, even if it causes them to use lighter weights on large movements in their training, would be beneficial. So, what we mean by layer your training, a basic version of it is to use circuits. So, for example, a shoulder and tricep workout, which is what the wife really likes to do. She loves shoulders and triceps. She said we talked about a circuit. I said an example circuit would be to do lateral raises into overhead presses into close grip push-ups. So rather than training the shoulders and triceps separately, train them in a circuit. The circuit structure increases the damage stress experienced in the muscles, allowing for greater change stimulus without as much volume, meaning regards to total workout time. So you can think of volume as total sets. The total set count is going to be the same, but how much time it takes them to do that will be reduced. So typical straight sets would be ladder raises. Maybe you take 30 seconds per set. So you're going to do a set of ladder raises for 30 seconds, 2-minute rest. Set of 30 seconds for ladder raises, 2-minute rest. Set of 30 seconds for ladder raises, 2-minute rest. That's typical. Then you do the same for overhead press. A set of overhead presses for roughly 30 seconds, take a 2-minute rest. Set of overhead presses for 30 seconds, take a 2-minute rest. Set of overhead presses for 30 seconds, take a 2-minute rest. It sounds boring even listening to it, let alone doing it. But if you think about for 3 exercises, you're doing 3 working sets, say they take about 30 seconds per set with a 2-minute rest in between. You're talking about 7.5 minutes per exercise. So to do ladder raises, overhead press, and close grip push-ups in a normal structure would take 22.5 minutes. Where you just do one, like set 1, take a break, set 2, take a break, set 3, take a break, next exercise. Set 1, take a break, set 2, take a break, set 3, take a break, next exercise. That takes forever. It would take her 22 minutes and 30 seconds. Whereas if we did it as a circuit, where you do the set of lateral raises for 30 seconds, into the set of overhead presses for 30 seconds, into the close grip push-ups for 30 seconds, count a little bit of transition time, maybe even take a 2.5 minute rest because you're doing a circuit, give yourself an extra 30 seconds. It would roughly, over 3 sets for 3 exercises, be only 13 minutes and 30 seconds. So the same exercise is performed as a circuit, even with longer rest times, only takes 60% of the time. So what took 22 minutes and 30 seconds to do, you could actually do in 13 minutes and 30 seconds. That's crazy. Now you have almost an extra 10 minutes that you can devote to another goal, another target. Now you can also layer your circuits. So I gave her an example of a glute-focused workout for the lower body. For a warm-up circuit, she could do a glute stretch, followed by a bodyweight glute exercise, and then a core exercise. So maybe she does like, some kind of pigeon stretch for her glutes. Then maybe she does a DNS star or a clamshell raise. Maybe you're familiar with those terms for a glute exercise. And then some planks or some dead bugs for core bracing to pull in the abdominal wall, like what you would do for people with diastasis recti. You want to narrow down the midsection. So we would do that as a warm-up circuit. You would do the stretch into the glute exercise, into the core exercise. Then we would do a body weight circuit, which helps to pre-exhaust the muscles, helps to work on cardiovascular conditioning, helps with overall caloric burn during the workout as well. So we might do a circuit where we do side lunge drops, which is a good way to kind of open up the adductor, open up the glutes even more, get a little bit of internal, external rotational work. So she might do 10 reps on each side, then a hinge variation of a reverse lunge to make it more of a glute focus, 10 reps on each side, and then an explosive step up, maybe even just 5 reps on each side. And that would be a great circuit to do, 3 rounds, get that in, plenty of time. Then, if we're looking at a glute-focused workout, maybe we do a main lift and an accessory. So maybe we'll do barbell RDLs and then a glute drive or a hip thrust. Those will be wicked to have together because they both target a similar movement mechanic, but they're loaded, horizontally versus vertically. So they're different load angles, but yet targets the same muscles. Has weird, fun challenge to it. So you can do barbell RDLs and a glute drive or a hip thrust. We have a glute drive, a Nautilus glute drive machine in the gym, which is why I'm referencing that specific machine. Then we could do a hack squat pyramid set where maybe she does a set of 10 at like a 5 intensity, adds a little bit of weight, another set of 10. Now it feels like a 7 out of 10 intensity, adds a little bit of weight. Then she does another set of 10 at like a 9 or 10 intensity. Then we drop set out of that. So we work our way up in weight, then back down in weight, all just quick, short rests in between all of that on the hack squat. You can do all of that in an hour. So the warm-up circuit, the glute stretch, glute exercise, core, then the body weight circuit, then the RDLs, glute drives, then the hack squat pyramid set. You can do all of that in an hour easy. That's 9 exercises, 3 sets, 3 working sets each, 27 total working sets in 60 minutes. That's a lot of work in 60 minutes. You can do that twice per week, and now all of a sudden you've covered all of your leg demands, all of your lower body needs, and some extra core work, and you still have 5 other days to focus on other goals. So if you have 6 days that you can work out, maybe you do legs, pull, push, legs, pull, push. That would be a good 6-day focus. If you only have 5 days, maybe it's legs, pull, push, then legs, then upper body. If you only have 4 days, then it's lower body, upper body, lower body, upper body. You can structure these in a lot of variety of ways. But no matter how many training days a person has, using circuits and then layering those circuits, where you do a movement prep, a pre-exhaust, the main work, then the finishing work, you can accomplish everything you want in less total time spent in the gym with even better change stimulus produced per workout. So those were the 3 tips. So her question was, if you could give 3 tips that we could start implementing today, what would they be? And those are my 3 tips. Grind early, not late. So do extra work early in the day, not late in the day. Get up early, do it then. Keep a healthier sleep pattern. Tip number 2, aim small, miss small. Use smaller tracking windows, aka time blocks, for macronutrient tracking. And tip number 3 is to layer your training. Use circuits and pre-exhaust to decrease time while increasing results. Awesome. Okay. Thought that was fun to share. If you want to reach out, if you have any questions, you can email me at brutalirongym@gmail.com. If you want to sign up for a free 15-minute virtual consultation, you can do that on our website or through email. That would be great. Get a chance to talk. You can tell me what you're struggling with, and I'll give you some ideas on how to address that. And then if you like the podcast, please share the podcast. If you like the podcast, please consider donating to support the podcast, which you can do on our website. Also, if you like the information we share in the podcast, you can find more from us on our social media channels. You can find us and follow us on Instagram and YouTube under the name Brutal Iron Gym. As always, I hope this was helpful, and thank you for listening.